Welcome to SoCal Surf with Dan Nappy. A lot of work to surf is what I said this episode was called. That's because the current was back strong today. The waves were much bigger, well overhead on the sets, and the medium ones were small, so if you wanted to get those, you had to move in, which means you didn't want to get caught inside when the big sets came. And that's exactly what happened to me twice, and both times, by the time I got out, I didn't even get out. I gave up, got out by the condos or Tower 8 and walked all the way back to the pier and went out again there. So I did 2 walkbacks from that. So yeah, if you get caught inside when those sets roll in, it's just, it's 4 or 5 duck dives. And next thing you know, you're down the beach. So I tried to paddle out and I looked around where I was and I can see that I was looking at the condos. So I tried to get out a little bit for another couple of minutes, and I thought, no, I'm just going to walk down. So I turned around, came in, which wasn't that hard because I was close to the shore, and walked all the way back to the pier and then went out alongside the pillars, which was good because when there's a current like that, there's a kind of a ripped current that goes out alongside the pier on the opposite side of the current. So if the current's going from south to north, you go on the north side, and you'll get out a lot easier and faster. Plus the waves don't break as much there, so you're not duck diving as much, and it's not bubbly, so you're able to get traction, I call it. And then the currents go in that direction anyway, so you get out real easy and a lot faster. And then I caught another wave, and then when I turned around, I was caught inside again, and that drug me all the way back down to 8. So I walked back a second time. So it was pretty good size. They weren't real peaky like they were last week. They were walls, but if you got a good one, if you got moving, you could ride that thing for, I don't even know how far it was, probably almost 100 yards. So if you got a good one, you have a long ride, but sometimes it would close out. So you'd catch it and you'd turn, and you can see that it wasn't going to last long. So you had to get out of the way of the crunch. Either go into the wave or go out towards the sand, and then jump off. And I did that, which was a mistake because that took me too far in, and that's how I got caught inside and had to walk back. If I kicked out earlier, I probably could have made it outside before the sets came. So that was it. It wasn't real exciting. It was smooth and glassy, no wind. The water was warm, so everything was pretty good. It's just the waves were big and gnarly, well overhead. I mean, they look like mountains coming at you. But I was on my small board, and I took it on purpose because I knew I'd be duck diving today under some big waves. And I duck dive, and that thing gets a lot deeper than the 7-footer. And so even with that, getting down that far, I still had to hang on as tight as I could. In fact, I had to hug the board a couple of times, and it still almost ripped out of my hands. And then I pop up behind it and then keep paddling. And so luckily, only had to do that a couple of times. The rest were just little duck dives, but some of those were pretty strong, pretty heavy waves. So there you have it. A good big day at Huntington. Not necessarily epic or exciting, but it was surfable. Caught a few waves and did my thing. So put my thing down and off we went surfing, and I only saw one person I knew, but when I saw him twice. Once when I first went out, and then when I walked back and went out a second time, I saw him again, and then from then on he disappeared because the current was so strong that when you caught a wave, you were pretty much down the beach and you had to paddle back quite a ways, which is exhausting. That's why I say it was a lot of work to paddle all the way back to the pier. It's hard. So if you got a small board, you're not really gliding. You're just paddling, and it's like swimming. You're not really, you have to keep paddling. It's not a lot of glide to it. On the bigger board, I call it stride and glide because you can take big strokes, and then the board is moving like a skateboard. It keeps going. And the 7-footer does that okay. The ones bigger than that are better because you can paddle and coast. So I call it stride and glide. You can make up some good area, good ground that way, but on the small board, you're not really gliding, so you're paddling the whole time, and so it's exhausting to get back to the side of the pier. So that's why I say I had to walk back, because it's just a lot of work. So a lot of work to surf today. It wasn't easy, it wasn't epic, but it was good. Like I say, the good part was the water's warm. There's no wind. It's glassy. That's the good part. The bad part is the current was real strong. The big sets would nail you. And so you have to deal with that. So that's just what it's going to be like from now on with winter coming, the winter swells, which is interesting because now that I say that, this was definitely a summer swell. It was coming way in from the south, missing Newport completely. Newport is flat. I mean, you're talking about inches of waves, not foot. And so it goes right past Newport when it's a big south swell like that, and goes right into Huntington. And so Huntington's big, Newport is 0. And so that's pretty weird when you think about it. But now, with winter, it should start coming out of the north. I think that swell we're getting right now is the leftovers from the hurricane that went through Hawaii a week ago. So I think we're getting the remnants of that. So these big south swells are coming out of the south. There was another hurricane that went up Baja California by, I think it was Cancun, hit landfall there and kind of fizzled. But it sent some serious south swell up that, again, missed Newport and all the beaches that face a little bit west or northwest, just right past them. And for some reason, it rolls into Huntington. So that's good. That's real good. So that's it. So that's our story for today. It wasn't a group. It was just me. I biked down on my own today. And next week we'll be on our what I call our winter schedule, which is after school. Before school, you have the kids at Huntington Beach Pier, which is a lot of them. I went late today, and there was still quite a few there at 7:30. So about 8 it starts to get less. A lot of kids in the morning at the pier, so we might be going more towards the cliffs this winter. Hopefully get a few Newports, and then that's it. And then we're going to be going later because one of the guys teaches in the morning, and so he doesn't get out of that early morning session until 6:45. So 6:30 to 7 is when we're going to be heading out. So a little bit later, but it's dark now till 6:10. 6:15, and it'll get worse until November. So that's okay. That's fine. We can handle it. We're professionals. Not really. Well, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the flip-flop there tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll just see if we're going to do anything Saturday. It's hard to know. I know we got a beach party in the afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, check out our sponsors, Merch Hero, Task Bullet, Nappy Clothing, and SwingEasyHammocks.com, if you will. Thanks for listening. See you.